If we think about what the previous generation Sportage made and meant for Kia here in Europe, it's truly remarkable. It quickly became a proper ambassador for our brand values. We were talking always about the power to surprise, what Kia was about, but really Sportage did that best for us and represented those values and carried them out better than any other car in Europe. It was, as we all know, an incredible success for our brand. But I think beyond what it meant for our brand, for the whole segment, it was a true revolution. Never before had an SUV in this segment been that sporty, been that dynamic, had those proportions. So really it was a true game changer for the whole segment and quickly became the car to beat in the segment. So as a designer, when you have to do the next generation of such a vehicle, of course it's an amazing challenge, and we're always happy to take a challenge on. And we started to think about how to approach the problem. And if you think that this car was the sportiest, as I said, that a vehicle in this segment could be, we started to compare it to an athlete that had really marked his game and, for example, been at the Olympic Games and won all the gold medals in its category, and has to show up 4 years later for the next Olympic Games, and he knows he's the person to beat, to be beaten by all the other athletes. So in the last 4 years, what did he do? He trained harder than ever before, sharpened his game, sharpened his performance. So I think the car became even sportier, even more muscular compared to the previous generation Sportage. We're truly excited about the proportions that we managed to give to the car. The stance is fantastic. The relationship of the wheels to the body, to the cabin are extreme and very emotional, which is what Sportage was really about. If I look at the interior as well, we really raised the game. I mean, the car is a lot more mature. The level of quality that is coming out in the interior, but as well in the exterior, is truly amazing. So for us designer, it's really satisfying in one sense to see what we've managed to achieve, and we're all very, very excited that finally you all get to see it and that we are able to show to the outside world what we've been working on for the past years. Another interesting part of the job of the designer, when creating the successor to such a famous, successful car as the Sportage, is to finding the right balance in how much do you take over from the previous generation and how much do you add in innovation. The recognition factor, so that it is still a Sportage, and how much of the new and modern and wow effect factor do you bring. And here what we did is basically from the silhouette and the cabin took over the elements from previous generation Sportage, together with the sharp line of the shoulder that runs from the front fender to the rear tail lamp, which really helps to add this feeling of tension, dynamism to the car, and treated the front and the rear of the car completely in a different way than previous generation Sportage did. If you look at the front of the previous Sportage, it had a very strong recognition factor and a very strong identity with the headlamps. We tried to find something as strong as the previous one, yet it's done in a completely innovative and different way. Same with the rear. We have those lamps that really emphasize the horizontality of the vehicle and stretch its width. All this to emphasize the stance, or the good stance that the car really has on the road.